Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. I'm filming a little life update video today and part of me didn't want to do this for some reason, but then I thought if I don't do this it's just going to be really confusing for you guys in terms of the content that I'm uploading and where I am and what I'm doing and what I have been doing. So I thought I'd just sit down and share with you guys what's been going on and share some big changes that are about to happen in my life. So basically, as you can tell from the title, I probably put something in there along the lines of I'm moving to Europe, I'm relocating to Europe, am I moving to Europe? And that's basically the main theme of this video, is that I am moving, kind of. And this all ties in with my parents having moved back to Germany basically, which I've touched on in other videos. And if you don't know a lot about me, I was born in Germany, both my parents are German, and I was raised there until the age of 11, and then we moved to Australia 9 years ago. So I moved with my parents and my siblings. I have two younger siblings, a brother and a sister, and we moved here. My dad started a company here, so it was a business move, and we were only meant to stay 1 year to 3 years. But my parents ended up loving it and we were really happy, and so we ended up staying way longer. And we have always gone back to Germany at least once a year. We have lots of really, really close friends there. My grandparents are there, so I've still always felt a really strong connection to Germany and to Europe as well. And I still feel like that's where my roots are, and that's kind of home. Even though Sydney is also home, there's a term in German which is Heimat, which is kind of means more than your physical home. So that's kind of how I would explain it, as Sydney is my physical home right now, but I think Germany feels more like Heimat. Like it just feels like my roots are there. I feel really comfortable there. I don't know, it doesn't really matter, but just explaining the fact that I've always had my life here, but then I've also still had such a strong connection to over there. And in the past couple of years I've always thought about moving back and living in Europe again, and it's something I always wanted to do, but I wasn't planning on doing it this year. And then my parents decided to move back to Germany about 9 months ago, I want to say. And at first I thought I was going to be completely fine, and I thought that because I felt like I was going to end up in Europe as well, and so I kind of went, oh well, you know, we might be apart for a couple of years, but I can go visit, it'll be fine. And then as the date of them moving came closer, I started to really struggle with the idea of being away from them, which I kind of shared with you guys as well, because I'm so close with my family, not just my parents but also my siblings, and I love being a part of their lives. And even though I've lived out of home in Sydney for almost 2 years, I always lived about an hour, like 45 minutes away from my parents, and I always had a car, so I always saw them at least once a week, and I was always able to still be a part of their lives and to like really be a part of the family. And I think part of me felt kind of left out as well. You know, they're doing this big change without me, and they're starting this life over there again, and I'm not going to be a part of it, and I'm not going to be able to see them. And I really started to struggle with it. And they were meant to leave at the end of June, and I wasn't meant to go with them, so I was meant to stay here for June and July and then come at the end of July to visit them and go to Europe for like a month and do some traveling there, and go for my mum's birthday and, you know, to see my family. So I was gonna have kind of like a 2-month period to see what it felt like. And then I want to say about 10 days before they were meant to leave, my grandma passed away, which I didn't share with you guys. I think the day of the funeral I just posted something on my story like I said goodbye to my grandma today. But other than that, I haven't really talked about it, and I never really got a chance to be that close with my grandma, not necessarily because we lived so far away, but because she was really ill for the last 10-15 years of her life and just mentally not there anymore. She wasn't, you know, the same person. So I do have memories of when I was a lot younger, you know, going to like the theater with her and doing different things, but for most of my life I didn't really get a chance to know her because she wasn't really there anymore, even though she was still physically here, if that makes sense. So for me, it wasn't a major loss in that sense, which might sound really, what's the word? Like it might sound bad. It might, bad's not the word I'm looking for. I'm looking for another word. It might, you know, sound a bit rough, but that's kind of just the reality. Like, she wasn't a big part of my life, but still it was the first death in my family, and it was the first time, you know, having to deal with that. And the worst thing for me was just seeing my mum and like knowing that there was nothing I could do to help. And so that happened just before they were meant to leave, basically. And I was at my parents' place, luckily, when we got the call, so I'm really happy about that. And I basically ended up making the decision to go with them when they were gonna leave, because I wanted to be there not only for the funeral, but also just to be there for my mum and for my siblings and for my dad as well, and just to be there during that time and to be there for my grandpa. And it would have felt really weird for me to not be there and just stay here. And for me, it was obviously really easy to go. Like, I have a really flexible job, I'm not at uni, so I decided to go with them and spend a month there, which I did. So I spent basically the whole of June there. And obviously you guys would have seen my content, and it wasn't just this whole sad trip, and that wasn't the only reason that I went. You know, I also did some holidays with my family and with friends, so I made the best of it. But it was also nice to be there for those really important moments like the funeral and, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm really glad that I did that. But yeah, I was meant to go in June, spend the whole of June there, which I did, and then I was meant to come back here and spend a month here, which I'm doing right now. And then I was meant to go back again at the end of July for my mum's birthday, like I had originally planned, like I told you guys before. Go at the end of July, spend a month there, and then come back to Sydney. So that's kind of what I planned in my head. Okay, because of the funeral, I'm gonna go for 4 weeks, but then I don't want to spend like 3 months there, so I'm gonna come back to Sydney and then go back for mum's birthday. And so I really thought I was gonna be fine with them leaving, because I mean, I didn't have to deal with saying goodbye to them here at the airport, you know, like that was a big thing for me, is, oh my god, I'm gonna drop them at the airport and I'm gonna have to say goodbye. And this way I actually went with them, and then I was the one to leave Germany and to come back to Sydney. And when I did, when they dropped me off at the airport in Germany, I'm sorry if this is confusing, I hope you guys can follow, I really, again, felt fine, you know. I went, I'm going back to Sydney for a month, I'm gonna get back into my routine, and then I'm gonna see you guys a month after. Like, I felt so fine, and I think I was kind of pushing away some feelings, and I was just focusing on the flight and stuff. And then as soon as I got here the first night, I was so happy to see Kel, because he didn't come with me and I really missed him. But I cried the first evening, because it just hit me, the fact that my family's on the other side of the world and I'm here. And it really hit me a lot harder than I was expecting, and the first couple of days were atrocious. I haven't felt that bad in a long time, and I was really jet lagged as well, but all I wanted to do was just sleep and cry, and it was horrible. And I think I felt really stuck, and I felt like, shit, I want to be over there and I want to be with them, but I can't. I have to stay here. And because our plan, Kel and mine's plan, was kind of to go next year. So we were going to go next year around March, April, May, move to Europe. But we were going to stay a while, because especially for him mainly, it just wasn't and isn't the right time to go right now. But for that reason, I kind of went, oh my god, I'm stuck here. I have to wait till next year. There's no other option. And that made me feel so awful. And then a couple of days after I got here, I kind of went, okay, I'm gonna try. And, you know, I had a meeting in the city, and Kel had to go into the city as well. And I got ready in the morning, I did my makeup, I went for a walk, and like really tried to, you know, do positive things and like take care of myself. And then on the way to the city on the train, I just started bawling my eyes out. And, you know, Kel just went, this is not okay. Like, you shouldn't, if you're this upset, then we have to do something about it. That's basically what he was saying. Not that it wasn't okay for me to cry, but he was the one who kind of initiated the conversation of, maybe there's another option, because, you know, you feeling miserable for 9 months is not going to benefit either of us. And that was a really scary conversation to me at first for some reason. Like, I just boxed myself into this, we're going next year and we're both going at the same time and there's no ifs or buts about it, and I just have to stick it out. And he kind of raised this idea with me of, you really don't have to stick it out. and you really have the freedom to do whatever you want, and if you want to go over there, I'm going to support you. So that was really amazing of him, and we had a bunch of really big talks about it, and I basically came to the conclusion that yes, I do want to be over there, and I don't want to wait till next year. I want to be living there right now. I really want to be with my family, and I also want to be with Kel, and I love him so much, and we are so happy in our relationship, and I feel so supported and just really amazing. But yeah, a huge part of me realized I want to be over there right now. I want to be in Germany. I want to be in Europe. I want to be with my family. So basically we came to the conclusion that I am gonna go. So I'm gonna go when I was meant to leave, end of July, to go for my mum's birthday. And you know, I was gonna go for 4 weeks or so, but I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna kind of stay the time being. And Kel is gonna follow when he can. So for him, it's just about finding the right time, about like when he feels ready to go, and I completely respect that so much. And I'd much rather have a scenario where it takes him a bit longer to come over rather than him going with me now and just having a horrible time and just not being in the right like mental state to deal with a big move and to, you know, just like really throw yourself into that new life and create a new life for yourself. I think you have to be in a certain type of position, you know, to be able to do that. So we've kind of decided that I'm gonna go and we're gonna spend some time apart. We're not breaking up, we're not doing an open relationship or anything. We're still together, but you know, we will be apart geographically speaking for a while, and it's actually not going to be that long. We have kind of set a time frame for ourselves, but it might change. We're gonna take it day by day, but we wanted to have something in mind just to like give us both some peace, and so that you don't have to like, you know, worry and assume when it's gonna happen. So I'm gonna go, like I said, end of July, and Kel's gonna aim to be there by the end of the year. But I will be visiting Sydney in between those. So we're not gonna be apart at one time for more than like 10 weeks. So I think I might go to Europe, spend 8-10 weeks there, come to Sydney for a few weeks, visit him, and you know, like who knows, maybe at that point he's gonna go over with me. Or you know, I go back and then we spend another 2 months apart, and then he comes for Christmas and around that time and then stays or whatnot. And we've also had lots of conversations about quite possibly doing a thing where we spend 6 months in Europe and 6 months in Sydney, because I love Sydney as well, and I have really good friends here, and I have my agency here and my connections here, but I also love Europe. And Kel obviously has his family here, so that's a big factor for him as well, just like it is for me. So we might do something like that. And I think the great thing is that we're both really flexible with our jobs, and we're really flexible up here, and I think we are both able to give each other that space and that freedom. And I'm so grateful that I'm with someone who's telling me, if this is what you need to do, then you go do that, and I'm gonna support you, and I'm gonna work on me and see when I'm ready to go. And I have so much respect for that. And I feel like I'm giving you guys quite a lot of details that might not even be that important, but I guess I've realized that relationships, especially when you're together for a long time, you're gonna face obstacles, and they might not necessarily be within the relationship, you know, like we have no issues with each other, but there's gonna be obstacles, like maybe one of you gets an amazing opportunity across the world, or someone's family moves, like in my case, you know, and that's just bound to happen, and that's just life. And when two people come together, there's gonna be different things that those people want at different times. I think I've talked about this before, and I think it's just really important, especially with growing up, is to realize that sometimes you have to give each other the opportunity to do that. And yeah, I guess I feel like I'm really rambling now, but I'm basically moving to Europe, and moving is really moving is a big term, and it sounds very definitive, like it's forever. But in this case, I don't think it's gonna be that way. I think it's very likely that I'm gonna spend a couple months a year here. I'm kind of just reconstructing my life, I guess, and where I'm spending my time. I mean, I feel like that's a better way to phrase it. I'm not necessarily moving, but I'm just spending more time in one place than I was before. I don't know. And part of me is, you know, I'm nervous. I am a little bit scared, and I am a little bit you know, sad that we are going to be away from each other, even if it's just, you know, 2 months at a time. I still, you know, am gonna miss Kel so much, but I do think this is the right thing. And even though it's happening very fast and, you know, we're moving out of this apartment and we're trying to sell everything in 3 weeks, and I'm selling my car and like all these things that are really a bit stressful, overall it feels really good in my gut, and I'm just so happy that I have Kel's support, and my friends have all been super supportive. My amazing agency here in Sydney, Chic Management, they've been super supportive, and I'm gonna be kept on there and I'm gonna keep working with them. And obviously my family's super supportive. I mean, my parents are both so happy that I'm going over there, and I am too. I am really happy, and I miss them so much, so I'm quite excited to be with them. And basically I am gonna move back in with my parents for the time being. So they are living in Düsseldorf, which is where I grew up most of the time before we moved to Sydney, and that's where most of our like friends are, and my grandparents are close-ish to there. And yeah, so my parents are moving into a house there, and I'm gonna have a room there. And then it kind of just depends on how I feel and how Kel feels, and then I might start looking for an apartment for the two of us already. Maybe I'll move in by myself for a couple of weeks or months. Everything's kind of up in the air a little bit. Like, we know what we want, but we're both very flexible because we both know it's just going to depend on how it feels when I'm over there. And yeah, so I'm excited, and I don't think we'd be living in Düsseldorf, the two of us, Kel and I. We do have another city in mind, and I might share that in the future when I start looking for an apartment. But yeah, basically that is what's happening, and I just wanted to explain it to you guys and explain what's been going on, because, you know, as much as I love doing the fashion videos and the beauty, I also just love sharing these types of things with you guys. And part of me also hopes that maybe, I don't want to say this is inspiring to someone because it sounds so corny, but, you know, maybe it is in a way inspiring to someone, or maybe motivating to someone if you, you know, feel maybe stuck, or, you know, you're in a relationship and you feel like you can't do certain things because you are, or I don't know, just knowing that there are always options and you should always be in control. And of course, I'm aware that I have a massive privilege and that there's always financial factors as well. But what I'm saying, I guess, is as much freedom as you do have, take advantage of it and don't be scared to do that. And I mean, I'm a little bit scared, but I don't want to not do things out of fear, and I just want to like grab life and turn it into what I want it to be, and I want to be in charge. And, you know, if I feel like I need to be with my family and I need to be over there, then that's what I'm gonna do. And the amazing thing is that I'm getting so much support from everyone, basically. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know what else to say, but that's what's happening. So I mean, maybe the next couple of weeks I will be vlogging kind of the process. I'm selling basically my entire closet on Depop. I'm gonna link it down below. Anyone who buys something, thank you so much. It's gonna make my life a lot easier because I just can't take that much stuff, and I'm not taking packing a container or anything. I'm taking 2 suitcases and that's it. And I'm selling everything else. So it feels a bit crazy, but it feels really good, and I hope you guys can tell that I am happy, and I'm just glad to be making such a big decision, and I feel really in control, and I feel in a really good place in my relationship, and I feel like we're only gonna grow stronger through this, and we're only gonna learn more about each other and ourselves. I hope you guys are excited for all the content. I mean, obviously I love being in Europe as well. The main reason why I'm going right now is my family, but it's not like I don't love Europe, and I'm gonna be able to travel a lot more and just create really amazing content for you guys, and I'm quite excited. I'm a bit nervous, but I'm excited, and I hope you guys are gonna stick around to see what happens. And I love you all very much, and I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye.